Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
जय
श्री प्रभुपाद की
जय
So we start with the prayers. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupadamayyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Uta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamatamsya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamriti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunvadi Pasadesthane Pancha Kalpadrubhasya Kripa Sindhu Evsya Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurtase Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jatpate Gopsa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasate Japtakanjan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrismanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachal Nimasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadra Bhyam Jagannatha Ite Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I hope all the devotees must have memorized that graph. So please don't मेरा कैसी है ना मेरे बैग में वो रखा है पर्स उसमें okay backside full lighting is there so wait a minute so I'll change my angle
Shubhadra Mataji, you are in group, Bhakti Shastri group. You are added already.
Yes Prabhuji
Okay.
added in first group 1
No. Main group is there, Bhakti Shastri group. Okay. Anyway, you just
that
send.
I don't know.
You send me your number.
Okay.
Okay, very good. I think now it's okay. So all the devotees should memorize the graphs very heartedly so that even in the night, midnight, somebody wakes you up, you should remember it. So I spoke about that graph. The reason is that now Krishna is going to move to another level. So till now he was explaining things through the level of karma kanda. And now Krishna is going to talk about Niskam Karma Yoga. So it was verse number 30 or 39 we are supposed to start?
39.
39. Verse number 39. So verse number 39 onwards till 46, Krishna is going to talk about Bhakti Yoga also. And then he'll move to Niskam Karma. And we'll see in 39, Krishna uses the word Buddhya. This talks about Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga, when it refers from 39 to 46 or more from 40 to 46, same Buddhi Yoga refers to Bhakti Yoga. And 47 onwards, verse number 47 onwards, when Buddhi Yoga is mentioned, that refers to Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so that is how same terminologies has two meanings in different verses. So now we'll go to 39. Esa te avita sanket buddhir yoge timam shinu buddhaya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. Please read the translation.
Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pruta, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works.
Till now, Krishna was saying that he taught Arjuna through Sankhya. Esa te avita Sankhya. Sankhya means Sankhya. Sankhya means counting. So counting of 24 elements is a part of Sankhya Yoga. So what Krishna says, till now I taught through Sankhya Yoga, or that's Jnana Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. Not Sankhya Yoga, not Buddhi Yoga. So that was like more from an analytical point of view or from intellectual point of view. Now he is going to speak through Karma Bandham Prahasasi. Okay, that is the destruction. Krishna will talk through Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga means Bhakti Yoga also, and it means Niskam Karma Yoga also. So Niskam Karma Yoga is in mode of goodness, and the result of mode of goodness is sense of happiness and detachment from this world. So that is how through realization or through elevation of the modes, a person gets detachment from this world. Till now, Krishna was talking from the analytical point of view, through analysis. That's more intellectual. But even just by coming in mode of goodness, person gets sense of happiness and detachment from this world. So that's why Krishna is going to speak that path, where through working, not just sitting and doing and analyzing, through working, one can destroy karma bandham prahasasi, destroy the karma bandhan. So he says that's why through that you can destroy the karma bandhan or sansar, repeated birth and death. Because repeated birth and death is because of karma. As soon as karma is destroyed, there's no repeated birth and death. Fine. So now Krishna will talk about Buddhi Yoga. First, I'll explain a little bit about what Krishna means when he speaks about Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means connecting with the Supreme Lord through the medium of intelligence. So that's called basically Buddhi Yoga. So that means one's goals, one's understanding of the things, and one's understanding of who he is. All these things change. For people who are following Niskam Karma Yoga, for them the goal is Brahman. The practice of Varnashram is the main practice. And for them, the relationship with the Supreme Lord is more as a part and parcel of Brahman. They don't have much understanding about who is Supreme Lord. Or even if they have understanding of Krishna as a person, they think that Brahman is higher than Krishna as a person. So that is about Niskam Karma Yoga. But Bhakti Yoga is transcendental. So that's why Sambandh, Abhide, Prayojan, these three terminologies are there, we should remember. Sambandh means relationship with the Lord, Abhide means working in that relationship, and Prayojan means achievement of one's goal. So all these things, three things are transcendental for those who are practicing Bhakti Yoga. So relationship with the Supreme Lord is I am part and parcel of Krishna and eternal servant of Krishna. Abhide is practice of Bhakti, which is also eternal. It is a part of spiritual world, not like Niskam Karma Yoga. And also the goal is also transcendental, because you are identifying oneself as a eternal relationship. See, eternal relationship with Krishna can never be like merging in Brahman, because we have a relationship with Krishna. As so all these three things are transcendental for a bhakti yogi. So I'll just refer to few verses. So wait a minute, I'll show in Veda base, which proves that how Niskam Karma Yoga is in mode of goodness and Bhakti Yoga is transcendental. So just a minute. This 11th canto, chapter 25. And verse number 23. So this is the definition of Niskam Karma Yoga also. This gives us good understanding of Niskam Karma Yoga, and it proves also that how Niskam Karma Yoga is in mode of goodness. So I'll share with all the devotees. So you can repeat this verse after me. Madarpanam nisfalam va
Madarpanam nispalam va
tam nija karmetat
satvikam nijakarmatat
rajasam phala sankalpam
rajasam
Sankalpam
sa prayadi tamasam.
himsa
Please read the translation.
What I performed as an offering to me,
performed and as an offering to me without consideration of fruit is considered to be the mode of goodness. Work performed with a desire to enjoy the results in the mode of passion, and work impelled by violence and envy is in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
The first line is the definition from Niskam Karma Yoga. There is no consideration of fruit, that I want to enjoy the fruits of my activities, and it is offered to the Lord. So Niskam Karma and Yoga, that is in mode of goodness. Whereas Sakam Karma Yoga, working for the pleasure of the or offering the fruits to the Lord, at the same time having a desire to enjoy it, is in mode of passion. Whereas any activity is impelled by violence and envy is in mode of ignorance. So this shows that how Niskam Karma Yoga is in mode of goodness, Sakam Karma Yoga is in mode of passion. And now we'll talk about Bhakti, how Bhakti is transcendental. So that's 11, 20 and 20. Just a minute. You can repeat this verse also after me. Nahi angopakrame dhvamso
Nahi Angopakrame Dhamso
madharmasyoddhavanvapi
Madharmasyoddhavanapi
maya vyavasita samyan
Maya
Samyan
Vyavasityan
nirgunatvadanasisaha.
Nirgunatvadanasya.
Read the translation.
My dear the Uddhava, because I have personally established it, this process of devotional service unto me is transcendental and free from any material motivation. Certainly, a devotee never suffers even the slightest loss by adopting this process. Hare Krishna.
So this verse is also like similar to the one of the future verses. So first thing what is spoken here is nirgudattvad anasisaha. So nirgudattvad means this devotion service is above the three modes of material nature. It's above this and also anasisa. Asisa means asa. Asa means motive or desire. It is free from any personal desire. One desires only pleasure of Krishna. At the same time, it is free from three modes of material nature. So this proves how Bhakti is transcendental. And as a Prabhupada would often speak, Golokera Premadhan Harinam Sankirtan. So this is imported material from spiritual world, from Golok Vrindavan. Because other processes don't exist in spiritual world. only Bhakti Yoga exists in spiritual world. No Karma Yoga, no Jnana Yoga, no Ashtanga Yoga. Even Jnana Yoga even doesn't exist in even Brahman. So I'll explain it a little later. But one has to give up the Jnana Yoga also in this world. Only then one can enter in the spiritual world. So that's why in the spiritual world only Bhakti Yoga exists. No other process exists. So it's transcendental, free from any motivation. At the same time, the specialty of Bhakti Yoga is that there is no loss or diminution. Okay. So did I complete the chart last time when I was explaining?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, y-axis completed. X-axis maybe.
Okay. I was thinking that something is. So anyway, after this I'll explain about that chart only. So what is Buddhi Yoga? Buddhi Yoga means, Buddhi means intelligence, Yoga means connecting with the Supreme. So connecting with the Supreme via intelligence, that's called Buddhi Yoga. Now when that connection is in mode of goodness, that is Niskam Karma Yoga. And when that connection is in Bhakti or in relationship with the Lord, that is Transcendental. Okay, that is called Bhakti Yoga. So these are two Buddhi Yoga, both Niskam Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Okay, another question is how the destination of Niskam Karma Yoga is destination is will be Brahman. That we'll explain in the chart. So I didn't remember that we didn't complete the chart. So just a minute, I'll share it. Okay. So this was the chart which I was explaining last time. So I just explained the y-axis. I didn't explain the x-axis now.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. I don't know whether no, I didn't share till now. No? I'll share with all of you. Fine. So this was y-axis was clear. So now I'll explain out each of these processes. So Sakam Karma Yoga. Sakam, as we were explaining, we explained before also. Sakam is the desire to enjoy the fruits of one's work. See, it's not desiring fruit. It's not. It's desiring or not desiring. Niskam Karma Yoga means not desiring, and Sakam Karma Yoga means desiring. But what is that desire? To enjoy the fruits of one's labor. Because objective understanding of fruits has to be there. Objective understanding means, like now, ladies should know how much salt should I add so that the preparation is good. If they don't know, they say, "Oh, I'm Niskam Karma Yogi, I'll put anything and any amount." Then sabji will be spoiled. So understanding of the result or objective understanding of result is not condemned. What is condemned is desire to enjoy. Why are you cooking? Are you cooking so that now you can nicely enjoy? Or you're cooking for the pleasure of Krishna? Or you're cooking because it is your duty? So that's why what is condemned is desire to enjoy the fruits of one's work, not just desiring the fruits. Fruits can be desired, but not the desire to enjoy. So one who still has a desire to enjoy the fruits of one's work, at the same time he follows Varnashram Dharma, and through that one connects to Krishna. So that is called Sakam Karma. And when somebody worships demigods, that's called Karma Kanda. But our acharyas often they say Karma Kanda and Sakam Karma Yoga is same. Although Karma Kanda is worship of demigods and Sakam Karma Yoga is worship of Lord Vishnu. But main difference between Karma Yogi and Bhakti Yogi is That Karma Yogi may worship Vishnu, even Jnana Yogi may worship Vishnu, or Ashtanga Yogi may worship Vishnu, but they don't have faith in Vishnu as the Supreme, and that goal is not to achieve Vishnu. So these two differences are there. Now, Sakam Karma Yogi, when he performs any duties, let us say Varnasam duty, or he is performing some sacrifice, then he worships Lord Vishnu indirectly. So Varnasram's goal is also, or center is also Lord Vishnu. Varnasram acharvat pumsena parapaman Vishnu aradhate panta na anyat tattosya karanam. Varnasram acharvat pumsena parapaman Vishnu aradhate panta. So ultimately, worship or Vishnu's aradhana is the center of Varnasram. Na anyat tattosya karanam. There is no other like center. Although a person may or may not have faith that Lord Vishnu is the goal of life. So generally for Sakam Karma Yogis, their goal is sense gratification in this world or sense gratification in heavenly planets. So any sort of sense gratification is there. So that is their goal. And with that goal, they perform yajna. When they perform yajna, what happens is the yajna kund becomes a mouth of Vishnu, and the fire is called the tongue of Vishnu. So when you are offering the oblations in fire, that's like feeding Vishnu. So they may not have a desire to feed Vishnu alone, but they may desire to worship Vishnu, so that Vishnu will give our sense objects, which we can enjoy further on. But because they are worshipping Vishnu, what happens is slowly their consciousness gets elevated. Similarly, no mantra of demigod would work unless until Lord's holy name is chanted first. So that's why all mantras begin with Omkar. Because for people who are not attracted to holy names of the Lord, Krishna, Ram, Govinda, they have an objection. So Lord appears as Omkar. And Omkar is such a Bij mantra that nobody objects in chanting Omkar. Like if you remember the previous vice president who was a Muslim. So during that time, what happened is this same government, currently the central government, so they introduced yoga in each and every school. So then Muslims started objecting. No, this is a Hindu thing, and how can you make it compulsory in CBSE schools? So then what he did is he called many people from Arabian countries where they were practicing yoga in the schools there also. So what happened is that time the wife of vice president, she said that I also chant Omkar, and chanting Om is not religious. It is just for meditation and for good health. So that is how people don't have objection chanting Omkar. But as soon as you chant Omkar, there is an elevation in consciousness. The touch of Lord Vishnu indirectly also leads to elevation of consciousness. Okay, Kalyan, you had a question?
Prabhu, chanting Om in the Kali Yuga is any exception, or anybody can chant? The way we had in the previous conversations, having what you call cross belt. I forgot the name. There is kind of initiated through Brahmana. You need to wear it. Chanting Gayatri. The same way, Omkar also. Is there any restriction, Prabhu, or anyone eligible to chant?
See, generally Omkar works when you get initiated through a spiritual master. He may be Karmakandi spiritual master also. Otherwise, one cannot chant. But at the same time, we should understand that all the three Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, they all were initiated by spiritual master in the Vedic age. Then they will enter in Gurukul. So all three would perform yagyas actually every day. It's a part of Grasa Dharma only to perform Agnihotra. Now in Kali Yuga we are not qualified, so we chant Harinam Sankirtan. But in the previous ages, everybody would do yagya. So that's why Omkar is not like something exceptional. All the people in general in the Vedic age would chant. But one has to receive that mantra from a guru. That means he should not be like, third class Brahmana. He should be like a proper Brahmana. Okay. 2 more hands were there. 3 hands are there. Govardhan Prabhu?
No, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Maybe you can use headphone.
Yeah, no problem. Demigods mantra having the Om in front, and even Vishnu mantras, many mantras having the Om as a prefix. And when it comes to Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is no Omkara in the as a prefix. So can you give some clarity on that?
Okay. Already I gave the answer. See, other mantras need Omkar because they won't work unless until Lord Vishnu's touch is there. But here we are chanting Krishna's name directly. So we don't need Omkar for that. Make sense?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Manjunath.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Just now, a few minutes back, you mentioned that 3 varnas like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya are eligible for joining the Gurukul. But I also understand in some other platform, only the Brahmana children only eligible for the Gurukul. So,
No.
Okay. But I understand in the TTD Gurukul, only Brahmins only, Brahman kids only eligible for that. So if you are a Brahman, then they will take the admission. So which one we can take it as understanding correct?
See, they may be training people as a Brahmana for the purpose of getting pujaris.
Okay, Prabhuji.
In general, with the Gurukul, it is not like that.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So how about Sudras, Prabhuji? Varna Sudra, they will not eligible in Gurukul?
Sudras won't have chanting Gayatri, etc. because the reason is that they don't have that intelligence.
Okay.
So then in case they chant wrong mantra, demons will start getting produced.
Okay.
Instead of, so that's why they may get ultra result also. So they were even allowed to do yagyas. They would even give ahuti. Sudras are allowed to do yagyas, but not chanting mantras. Because if we don't chant a mantra properly, mantra can have adverse effect also.
Okay. So just one more question. So if we welcome to our Krishna consciousness, if they follow all our process, then they are eligible for taking the mantra, right, Prabhuji? Initiation mantra, Gayatri mantra.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The main thing is we train and then give. We don't give like that.
Yeah, I got it. I'm clear. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Uday Karanpu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you able to hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So, this some villages said so Omkara. Omkara before reading any Bhagavad Gita or classes like this. So before that, they will chant this Omkara. So even though they don't know it. So it is a good or it is not good for you. So we need to continue. We will tell to continue them, or you just leave it this and you do just Hare Krishna mantra. So what we need to tell, what we need to guide.
See, somebody who is following 4-day principle can chant Omkara. That's not a problem. And provided is connected, somebody following 4-day principle and in connection with some guru. I'm saying that it can be even Karma Kandi Guru. He doesn't have to be Vaishnava Guru only. We also chant Omkar. Now even new people in front of new people will tell them Om Agyan Temrandase. That starts with Om. Our also first line is Om only, na? First word is Om. So even new people we allow, but main thing is that one has to receive in touch with some proper person. Not you are doing meat eating and this and that and all the time, and then you are chanting. That doesn't have much meaning. And main thing is, on whomever we don't have influence, there is no use of talking to them. Na? So for making people eligible to chant Omkar, you tell them to just chant Hare Krishna. And then they'll become eligible for chanting Omkar.
Thank you.
Anupam Kontu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, generally for a Omkar means as a abbreviation or they will mention as A, I, O. So something, if we mix all these things, so we get the Omkara. So my question is, what is the that letter's meaning, Prabhu? And also, what is the meaning?
That will talk later in our. So this is not a class for Holy Name.
Okay,
We have gone too
sure.
much into Omkar.
Okay.
So
Sure,
that we'll
Prabhu.
discuss
No issue.
when we go in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. Pranama Sarvavedi, so there we'll talk about.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhakar. So if we want to we should not lose our focus, otherwise we don't understand graph.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhu, regarding Sakama Karma Yoga, you were telling, like they will look for sense gratification, right? Then as we are also, most of the devotees are Grihasthas, even we look for, sense gratification only from Monday to Friday and
I
Saturdays
understood.
and...
I'll answer a question at the end. After hearing the graph, I'll answer.
Right, Prabhu.
You'll get your answer in this graph.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So in this way, by Sakam Karma Yoga also, once consciousness gets elevated, so one may be desirous of fruits. Slowly one will become free from the desire to enjoy fruits. And then the same process turns into Niskam Karma Yoga. Now, Niskam Karma Yoga would mean still you are performing Varnashram duties for the pleasure of that Supreme, but you don't have a desire to enjoy the fruit of your work. So that's Niskam Karma Yoga. How a Sakam Karma Yoga becomes Niskam Karma Yoga is that slowly one gets higher taste in performance of dharma than the taste in enjoying sense gratification which comes as a result of the dharma. Make sense? One gets more pleasure in duty than enjoying the fruits of one's duty. Duty means I'm talking about Varnashram duties. So duties themselves give higher pleasure. And you will find a lot of people like that. We sometimes call them a selfless worker.
Oh, work is worship.
Huh?
Work is worship like that.
Work is worship, but you have to worship Krishna by that. Not there's no work is worship means I worship my own sense gratification.
People in that mood, Prabhu, they don't want to.
That's why I'm saying it is half part of the mood, it's not full part of the mood.
Yes.
Work is worship for the pleasure of that Supreme. Then it is Niskam Karma Yoga. Okay? So like that. So I'll give an example for Niskam Karma Yoga. So slowly person becomes Sakam Karma Yogi, becomes Niskam Karma Yogi. Now what is this Niskam Karma Yoga? In Niskam Karma Yoga, let us say somebody is a Vaisya. He's selling some goods. So he sees that I'm a Vaisya. My duty according to the scriptures is Krishi Gauraksha Vanijam. So let us say he takes Vanijam. Vanijam means business. So he does business. At the same time, he earns profit according to what is given in Manu Samhita, not independently. Okay. And then at the end of the day, he says within his mind that, my dear Lord, please be happy with whatever duties you have given me. I offer them to you. So in this way, there is a remembrance of Lord, but very less. It's not just only grossly giving the donation. Grossly giving donation is anyway part of Grahastha Dharma. Anybody who doesn't give monthly donation for religious causes, then such a person incurs sin. Because while performing any duty, you have to do direct or indirect sins. Now you are a cloth seller, you will certainly sell some clothes, which may be according to fashion, but they are not Vedic. Similarly, while making clothes, so much sin is involved. Especially like selling things like silk. Such a ghastly karma is there. So like that is anyway part of a duty. Then you can't be called as a practicing varnashram dharma also. But even despite that, one worships the Lord within his mind through one's work. That's called niskam karma. And those who are proper karma kandis, I've seen them, like in our local place also. All these grain merchants, or most of my relatives are grain merchants, very wealthy people. But they are wealthy because they have they have something like 8 or 10% that they give in charity every year. So they calculate their yearly profit and then 8 to 10% they have to give. Something whatever is mentioned in Manu Samhita, they're very strict about it. So in this way, this person is niskam karma yogi. So he performs varnashram duties very properly. At the same time, he gives the fruits within his mind after every day. So his motivation to work comes from scriptures themselves. Because it is given in scriptures, I'll do that. And now scriptures may talk about Vishnu, so he may offer them to Vishnu also. He may offer somebody's understanding of Brahman, he may offer to Brahman or as a Paramatma. But main thing is that his motivation comes from following scriptures and his goal is not Vishnu. He doesn't know that not going to Vaikuntha or going to Golok Vrindavan is goal of life. Such a person may be desirous of Brahman. So slowly what happens is, now he is free from desire to enjoy fruits. After some time, he comes to the level where he overcomes even doership mentality. That I have done it. That mentality is also not there. Despite that person performs the same karma yoga, and he comes to the level of Brahman, which is also the level of being free from false ego. False ego means I am this body, I am man, I am woman, I am South Indian, I am North Indian, whatever. So one becomes free from that. And as soon as one becomes free from that, one becomes eligible to enter in Brahman. So that is how he achieves Brahman, this niskam karma. And even if one starts with Sakam Karma Yoga, one will end up in Niskam Karma Yoga, and then one will achieve Brahman in due course. For Karma Kandis, they can achieve Brahman only by mercy of Shiva and Parvati. Only these people can grant Brahman. And they don't grant Brahman to everyone. Only those who are selfless worshippers, they grant them Brahman. No other demigod can grant Brahman realization. So even Karma Kandis can sometimes go to Brahman. So there is a reference in Durga Saptasati, where there was a person called Samadhi Brahman. He achieved Brahman. But another king was there, he got his kingdom back. So very few people, by mercy of Devi or by mercy of Lord Shiva, may get Brahman. Karma Kandis. But Sakam Karma Yogis slowly elevate their consciousness, become Niskam Karma Yogis and achieve Brahman. Okay, anything on Karma Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga or Sakam Karma Yoga?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Oh, sir. Prabhuji, if a kid is born in a devotee family, so from
again, don't come to devotees. I'm talking about Karma Yoga.
Okay, Prabhuji. No, related to that only, Prabhuji. Here, Sakama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, you put in a same vertical line. First, you mention that Sakama Karma Yoga. So, if he is a Sakama Karma Yoga, there is a chance he can come to the Nishkama Karma Yoga. So here, the why I mentioned devotees comes under most. Maybe some devotees part of Sakama or Nishkama. So if it is
you don't understand difference, na. So that's why I'm saying don't talk about devotee. There's a big difference between both of them.
Okay.
When I talk Bhakti Yoga, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Anything on Niskam Karma Yoga, Sakam Karma Yoga, ask. Don't ask about any devotee.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Anupam Kundu.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that Nishkama Karma Yogi, so they offer duties to Lord. And so my question is, Prabhuji, so Nishkama Karma Yogi, so they will offer duty and also results. And Sakama Karma Yogi, so they will offer only the results, Prabhuji. This is correct?
Yes, yes.
Understand?
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji.
And Niskam Karma Yogi offer both.
Okay.
Results also and this also, duties also.
Okay. And Prabhuji, you mentioned that Nishkama Karma Yogi, so they will enter into Brahman. Means whether what type of worship they will do, Prabhuji, or just they will follow only the scriptures?
No, they keep on following scriptures, and due course of time they realize that I am not body, I am soul. That time they enter in Brahman.
So even though not worshipping any demigods or any Vishnu also, they will enter into Brahman.
See, if they are not worshipping demigods and Vishnu, then where is question of Niskam Karma Yoga? Because in the morning, Grasthas, they perform Agnihotra.
Okay.
See, Grastha Dharma, by marriage you don't become Grastha. By wearing saffron, you don't become Brahmachari. Somebody is wearing saffron clothes and he's having 10 children. Do you call him a Brahmachari? He has a wife and children. You call him Brahmachari. Similarly, by marriage, nobody becomes a Grastha. Grastha means those who follow Grastha Dharma. They are called Grasthas. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, Vini Madhav.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you said this, no, Samadhi Brahman, he got a liberation, and this whatever karmis and Sakama Karmi, Nishkama Karmi, is they are stuck in that process that they could not go further. That's why they'll be getting to the Brahman, or like what time they'll get, Prabhu? What is the completion of their process? Suppose
Okay.
now, yeah.
See, I told in the same thing, and they get elevated through the graph by performing same practice, no different practice. And at the same time, what happens at the end? At the end, they give up all material conceptions. They just focus on that they don't even focus on I am not this body. They have to focus on I am soul. And then, because part of Grasa Dharma is also they practice some sort of bhakti. Although they may not have faith. Like there is many times you will find people doing 24 hours Harinam. And they say Kali, Krishna, no, all mantras are same. They don't understand such a difference. Or they may understand difference. Vishnu mantra is different. They not consider it as a bhakti part. They say it is also for auspiciousness. Or it is now for getting Brahman. So then what happens is at the end, if they have a bhakti with them, and they understand that I am soul. With that understanding, they enter in Brahman. Actually, Krishna will talk about this whole process, how Niskam Karma Yogi, Sakam Karma Yogi, they enter in Brahman. You see in the end of 3rd chapter and 5th chapter, Krishna culminates in entrance of Brahman. That's not for Jnana Yogi. That's for Karma Yogi only. Karma Yogi at the very later stages, as a part of his Varnasam Dharma, he also takes Karma Sannyas. And then he can immediately enter. But even if he practices the same duties, Varnasam duties, because Sannyas is also in Varna only. So even then from that, he doesn't have to practice Jnana Yoga. Just by performing Karma Yoga, he can enter in Brahman.
So within each yoga system, there are a little, again, in between processes, stages, so that he can. Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Santosh Prabhu had a question. Even for Lord Narayan, it starts with Om. How can we understand? See, for Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that is not required. But because whatever is given in scripture, we follow that. So if you say Vasudev, that's enough. But Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, because it is given in scripture, we follow. But direct name of Lord may not require Omkar. But if it is given, there's no problem. What happens is when Omkar is given, then people get more faith, especially the Vedic follower. So these are eternal mantras coming from Vaikuntha or from spiritual world. And then one can chant them. So Om that represent Bhagavan, Paramatma or Brahman depending on one's understanding of Omkar. One understands Omkar as Bhagavan, one can even achieve Bhagavan by chanting of Omkar. So it depends on one's understanding. Okay, one Santosh bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the question is beginners from Krishna consciousness, like they limit devotees for a kirtan and everything, right? Like they feel that it's auspiciousness. As you said, the chanting of the holy name is not for the auspiciousness, but it's for the bhakti. Like how can we convey the message to them?
Okay. So what do you mean by auspiciousness? It's not like some demigod mantra by chanting Hare Krishna, you'll get nice laptop and good wife and a big beautiful bungalow. It's not like that. Krishna is not different from holy name. So that we have to understand. When you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are with Krishna. When you are chanting Ganesh, you are not with Ganesh. When you are chanting Ganesh, you are referring to Ganesh. And then Ganesh may give results. But Ganesh name and Ganesh is not same. Now, for example, if you chant sambar rice, sambar. After how many hours of chanting, your hunger will be quenched? It will never happen. But Krishna's name is not like that. When you're chanting Krishna's name, you are with Krishna. So that is the difference. Okay. Haribol. So this is our Karma Yoga. And then about
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, Sakama Karma Yogis, the destination will be hell only, no, Prabhu?
No, they'll go to Niskam Karma Yogi. No, that is what I'm speaking here.
No, they have desire to enjoy the fruits, no, Prabhu?
Even if they have desire to enjoy the fruit, but soul is eternal, na? How long will they enjoy the fruits? After some, their desires will be exhausted.
Okay.
And then slowly their consciousness will be elevated. And one day they'll become Niskam Karma Yogi.
Okay.
They may have to suffer because of their sins. But that may be occasional thing. They are not the people who permanently do sinful activities. Then they will not be in the platform Varnasam system.
Okay.
So Sakam Karma Yogi will also become Niskam Karma Yogi in due course of time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
One last question, Manjunath.
Prabhuji, the example which you given just now, summarize. Can you please explain us more? I wanted to understand better.
Which example?
That sambar rice you mentioned, right? Sambar rice, chanting sambar rice.
Like sambar rice,
I didn't understand the point.
The point I was speaking is demigods' mantras are different from demigods themselves. Like sambar rice, just by chanting sambar rice, you cannot be free from hunger. That will happen now. All the ladies would be so happy. My husband is chanting sambar rice and his belly is full. We don't have to cook only. So it's not like that. When you chant Hare Krishna, you are with Krishna, you are with Radharani. So that understanding has to be there. Those who don't have that understanding, their understanding is more like an understanding of Krishna's name is also auspicious. It's not just auspicious. That is like some very low understanding of Krishna's holy name. Krishna's holy name is not different from Krishna. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Rasa Sir Krishna. See, again, don't ask.
Last question. Thank you. Prabhu, like Sakama Karma Yogi will go to Nishkama Karma Yogi. Sakama Karma Yogi. Is there any chance like Nishkama Karma Yogi is declining or he's coming with low consciousness to Sakama Karma Yogi?
See,
how it will happen?
If he engages in sinful activity, he can get deviated. At the same time, it's not like when one goes through U-turn. Generally, one gets elevated. See, what happens is, in general, people work through their mind and intelligence. So they identify with mind and intelligence. And when mind and intelligence becomes purified, generally they get elevated. But in case they come across some very bad company, they may become degraded also, quite possible. So then again, they have to work hard to elevate their consciousness. Okay. What happened? Then? Disappeared, huh?
Seems to be some network issue, Prabhu. He will reconnect.
Okay.
Yeah, understood, Prabhu. Thank you.
He has not gone to perform Niskam Karma Yoga, na? Sakam Karma Yoga.
No, Prabhu, I'm here only.
Okay, you are here. Okay, Susaka Arjun too.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, we were discussing about the demigod mantra and the demigod name is different. I mean, the demigods are different. So just like you were giving an example, but just wanted to understand, like nowadays we go and worship the demigod worshippers. So they have their just little more clarity required actually, because they also go and worship demigods and offer prayers, and they're also getting benefited. So in that way, how does it different, Prabhu?
See, you may tell your wife, please cook sambar rice from me, and she cooks.
Okay.
And you chanting sambar rice. Is there a difference or no?
Yes, Prabhu. Different.
Which will give, bring you sambar rice?
By approaching the wife.
No. By getting, no, Mata must be cooking, na?
Yes, Prabhu. Through that we get, yeah. Not by chanting, yes.
Or you chant your wife's name, will you get sambar rice from that?
No, we will not get.
Similarly, when they chant demigod mantra, they ask from demigods.
Okay.
Like your wife is like a demigod who's giving you sambar rice. Similarly, somebody chanting Ganesh, name of Ganesh, for getting something from Ganesh. So then Ganesh will hear and give it. Not that Ganesh and his name is different. Sorry, not different. It's different. It's not same.
Okay.
Like now, if you go to
they are equivalently cuss only. The demigods also like
Jiva,
like,
you may be goddess in the past life.
Yes.
Whole Maharashtra may be worshipping you.
Okay. Right.
Fine. So this is about Karma Yoga. Now about Jnana Yoga. The minimum qualification for Jnana Yoga is detachment from particular type of work. That means freedom from doer's mentality. I am not the doer. Unless until one is on that level, one can't practice Jnana Yoga at all. Not possible. That's a minimum qualification. That's why those who want to practice Jnana Yoga, many times they also perform Karma Yoga along with Jnana Yoga. So that in case they slip down, they have shelter of Karma Yoga with them. So what is Jnana Yoga? Jnana Yoga means there are 24 elements which we are made up of. So they meditate on that. They meditate on, they go to the cremation grounds where people are cremated. So they try to meditate on the burning dead bodies. What the use of applying so many hair oils when the hairs get burned so quickly? What is the use of putting head and shoulders and other different shampoos when hairs will burn so quickly? Or the skin, what is the use of applying fair and lovely or fair and handsome when your skin would be burned so quickly? What is the use of making muscles in the gym? Ultimately, flesh is going to be roasted. So they meditate there and try to understand or realize how we are different from bodies through analytical study. So for that, whatever supporting things are required, like practice of brahmacharya supports it, taking sannyas supports it, leading life of extreme austerities and mode of goodness supports it. They do that. So that is the practice of Jnana Yoga. So but minimum qualification is freedom from doers of mentality. Why? Because for practice of Jnana Yoga, sannyas is compulsory. Otherwise, one has to practice Karma Yoga along with Jnana Yoga. If one has to practice as a grasta. But even then, at a particular point of time, one has to take sannyas and give up Karma Yoga practice also. Only then one can become a Jnana Yogi. And Jnana Yogis very quickly, as compared to Karma Yoga, not very quickly, but as compared to Karma Yoga, he may get Brahman, but there is a risk. What is risk? If your consciousness is not in this level, suppose it is in this level, and you take sannyas, then what will happen is, towards a mental is still there, and whatever you have made, let us say you are owner of 10 companies which are being spoiled by your children, you will go back, you will leave sannyas. But your mind will be constantly disturbed, and you can't practice Jnana Yoga. So who can take karma sannyas? Only those people who are free from dualism mentality. After you made your big empire, you left it, went to forest. If dualism mentality is there, you will again go back. Like now, recently, in the recent few years, you know about this Tata company. So the owner, Ratan Tata, he made a descendant. But then he found that descendant was either doing something wrong or not capable, whatever the reason may be. He saw things are not proper, he went back. Again, no, despite his old age, he is still doing. So that's why this giving up dualism mentality, even if a person is very great, is not so easy. So if one feels, oh, I'm free from dualism mentality, one goes there. One doesn't, is not still free, then one will go back. So that is the risk. Jnana Yoga. We'll focus it more on in chapter number 3 when we talk about it. Okay, Santosh Prabhu.
As you say, for Jnana Yoga, you should give up the doership mentality. Right? For that, like even to read, you should give up the doership mentality. Right?
Yes.
Like, you should take the sannyas, right? Like, for example, in that way, like in ISKCON, like who can take brahmacharya ashram? What qualification should have so that he can take brahmacharya ashram?
It's an invalid question. I'll tell you why. Because from Varnasana point of view, our brahmacharya ashram is not a brahmacharya ashram. ISKCON. It's more like you are staying in a hostel and then you read spiritual books and work for Krishna. Traditional brahmacharya ashram would start at the age of 5, not at the age of 25. 25 is age for marriage. It's not an age for brahmacharya. So there's one thing. And brahmacharya was compulsory for everyone. There's no question of qualification. You will become qualified after entering in brahmacharya ashram. So there was no qualification, because what is qualification required for entrance in we would call it play center. I don't know what they call it now. Kids, KG, kindergarten. What is the qualification for entering in kindergarten?
Age. Age 3 years 6 months should be there as an June or July.
So age is a qualification that you get it anyway. Whether you try or don't try, you don't have to try very hard to become aged. Similarly, brahmacharya anybody can enter. But traditionally in ISKCON, each of the temples have their some own criteria. And then you have to fulfill those criteria. In our temple, we have a big interview. It's not easy. At least 3 years continuously without break, you have to come for one program. You should have saved enough money for the parents. You should have got your sisters married. You should have some sort of house or something for taking care of parents. You should have some plan to take care of the parents in the old age. Then we allow. So, and different temples may have different criteria. So you can ask a local authority. Confirm.
Prabhuji, I heard one thing. So Jnana Yogi means they are divided into Nirakaravadis and also Mayavadis. So is it right, Prabhuji?
You see, Jnana Yogi, when we say it's not Mayavadi, it is only Nirakaravadi. Mayavadis are not counting in Jnana Yogis.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Fine. So this is about Jnana Yoga. Also, one more graph to explain little Jnana Yoga. Or I can explain later only. Not required now. So this much is clear now. That's okay. We'll discuss more in detail. Okay, Rasa sir.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So then, Mayavadis, no, in this graph, where they will come from in Jnana Yoga, or they are not at all counted here.
See, they are not counted here. The reason is that they have a wrong conception.
Okay.
Incomplete conception is not a problem. Wrong conception is certainly a problem.
Okay.
It's like, no, just because somebody is putting tilak, you don't call him a devotee. Okay, so like that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
So this is Jnana Yoga. Now from Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga has two stages, which we'll discuss more in chapter number 6. Beginning stages have to perform along with Niskam Karma Yoga. And there are 8 stages in Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. So don't ask too many questions because we'll discuss these in detail. So first 5 or 4.5 I would say, are called Yoga Rorukchu, or a beginner in Ashtanga Yoga. So Yam, Niyam, do's and don'ts. Asan means one has sits properly, because sitting is also an art. Not all the people can sit properly. That's why many of our devotees or software engineers often have backaches. They don't know how to sit. So sitting is an art which is taught in yoga. And I recently, I tried to sit properly. So recently, just 3-4 days ago, I could sit continuously for 6 hours and chant. 6-7 hours, same posture, without moving. So it's an art how to sit. So that's called asana. Because you have to sit for hours together, you should know how to sit. So that's called asana. So various asanas are there which make your body fit for achieving the meditation. Pranayam helps your mind to be pacified enough for meditation. So that's pranayam. Pratyahar. Pratyahar means pritiyahar, giving up things, and that includes taking sannyas. And as soon as one takes sannyas, which is the, you can say, last stage of pratyahar, then one comes to the level of yoga runa. Yoga runa. So in the stage of yoga runa, then one performs dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Dharana means meditation on complete form of the Lord. Dhyan means limb by limb meditation on the Lord, Paramatma within the heart. And dhyan means meditation on each limb of the Lord for very, very long time. Generally more than 24 minutes. It's 12 into 12 into 12 seconds. Something like that.
Prabhuji, once again, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi.
Dharana is meditation on complete form of Vishnu within the heart. That is called dharana. Dhyan is meditation on limb by limb of the Lord, beginning from lotus feet till head. So that's limb by limb. That's dhyan. And samadhi is same meditation for very long hours. So that's samadhi. Okay. So this is our Ashtanga Yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga also, the point where one is, so minimum qualification is no desire for fruits. Then slowly one comes to the level of freedom from dualistic mentality. So when one comes to the level of freedom from dualistic mentality, at that time, as a part of pratyahar, one can take sannyas. And then one can continue practicing Ashtanga Yoga. Then one can achieve Brahman in general. But those who are actually, I won't say strictly Ashtanga Yogis, they are more like, they are called Yoga Mr. Bhaktas. Those who want to go to 3 Vishnus, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karnodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, others want to go to Vaikuntha. They can go up to Paramatma by the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. So they can go, but general people go up to Brahman only, Ashtanga Yogis. Some of them can go to Paramatma. Those who also want to go to Lord Vishnu. So chapter number 6 describes up to Brahman. They are regular Ashtanga Yogis. And chapter number 8 describes about Yoga Misar Bhaktas. So they go up to Paramatma. So we'll discuss more in detail when we go to chapter number 6 and chapter number 8. Okay, Udakiran Prabhu.
Prabhu, for Ashtanga Yogis, they need to the scriptural understanding too.
Yes.
Okay.
See, unless until you know, what will you do?
Yes, yes. And one thing, Prabhu, in Ashtanga Yogi, asana is there. Asana. Asanas. So asanas, what they will do?
They make the body fit for meditation.
Just for sitting, Prabhu, or any like a yoga asana kind of thing?
See, for sitting, your everything should be okay. It makes your body fit for meditation. Let us say, even if you are sitting properly, but no, let us say no, there's a lot of gas problem, acidity starts coming, then you can't sit for a long time. No? So it makes the body fit for meditation. That's why a lot of people derive health benefits by performing of asana. Or they become free from mental troubles by practice of meditation. Because pranayam helps in curing the mind, making mind fit for meditation. So that's why many people derive just local benefit and go away. They won't be called Ashtanga Yogis. But asana pranayam have that purpose. Making body fit by asana, making mind fit by pranayam for meditation. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Some organizations they will teach meditation. So like God is light. So just to meditate on light.
See, it has to be according to scripture. Many people teach asana also like that. Now one devotee like, no, he was moving gun from here to there. मैंने कहा ये क्या है? He said yoga. And they're nonsense. Which yoga is this? So that's not called yoga. Yoga or pranayam has to be according to scriptures. Okay. So there are certain authentic yoga institutes, but like not very few.
Thank you.
Anupam Mukund.
Prabhuji, I heard one thing, Prabhuji. So these Ashtanga yogis, so they will meditate on Paramatma. So, but because the Paramatma doesn't have a particular loka in Vaikuntha lokas, so those who sincerely meditate on Paramatma, so for them the association of the devotee will get, and from there they will enter into Bhagavan realization. So
it is wrong. It is wrong. Paramatma has three. Where does Mahavishnu stay?
Generally in the material world, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu.
Where does Mahavishnu stay?
Actually, I heard Mahavishnu means this material worlds.
Material world, which place?
Svetadvipam.
No, you forgotten. Karan Sagar. And Karan Sagar is a big palace there. Why can't one stay there? So there are people who go to Karan Sagar also. But generally Ashtanga Yogis go to Brahman. They don't desire to go to three Paramatmas. They have different destinations. We'll talk in detail later on when we discuss chapter number 6.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
There are 4 destinations and we'll not discuss now. We'll discuss when we discuss in chapter number 6. So the different detail. Okay, so now this is about Ashtanga Yoga. Now Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is different because Bhakti Yoga doesn't need any qualification. Anybody can practice Bhakti Yoga. So there is a verse in Bhagavatam. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasa abir sumbaya vana khasadayah yanne cha papa yadapasraya asraya suddhanti tasme prabha vishnave namaha. So Kirat, Hood, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulakasa, these all are sinful species. And why they are considered as sinful? Because they are meat eaters. So even in India, the parts, the regions where people would eat meat, they were not called Aryans, as we had discussed before. So they were considered outcast. Now they are non-Aryans. So even such people who are mentioned in this verse and not mentioned in this verse, what happens is with them is Suddhanti Tasme, they also become purified. Why? Prabha Vishnave Namaha. Because Lord Vishnu is extremely powerful, and coming in contact with him, one also gets purified. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is generally, you can say 64 angas mentioned in NOD, or Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, Pad Sevana Archana Vandam Dasam Sakyam Atmanivedam. So these all are components of Bhakti Yoga. And anybody can perceive even Tiryak Jana Api Ki Usrita Dharana hai. Tiryak Jana means animals. Even animals and birds can practice. Jatayu was an eagle. Hanumanji is a monkey. So even these people could practice bhakti, what to say of human beings. So that's why anybody can practice bhakti yoga. Other species can't practice other yogas. So it's no qualification required. And bhakti yoga is considered like a lift. So that's why in bhakti yoga, the progress is very fast as compared to other yogas. It's fastest in bhakti yoga. So no qualification required. At the same time, there are some more qualities. I think it's in the next slide. So no qualification required. I'll chant this verse. Na janmanunam mahato na swabagam na vana buddhir nagartisto sahetu yanopi visrishta napino vanokasas chakar sakhe bata lakshmanagrajaha. So there's a verse spoken by Hanumanji to Lord Ram. In Kim Purus Varsa, which comes in 5th canto. So he says, my dear Lord, you can't be satisfied with any qualification other than bhakti. What is the proof? Na janma nunam. We monkeys have no high birth. Mahato na swabhagam. We don't have very good punya or auspiciousness or past credits. Now van means we don't have very good voice. Monkey generally key. They don't have very good voices. Now buddhi means monkeys are not very intelligent. Like if somebody tells to you, Prabhu, you are intelligent like a monkey. So you won't take it a compliment. You will take it as a offense. Na akritis. Akritis means they are not like very beautiful also. Like you tell someone, no, Prabhu, you look like a monkey. So then we'll be certainly offended. Yanopi visishtam apino vanokasa. Vanokasa means one okas. Okas means those who have home in the one or in the forest. So he says, Chakar Sakhi Bat Lakshman Agraja. So he Lakshman Agraja, elder brother of Lakshman, Lord Ram. This proves that you are not satisfied by these things. You are satisfied only by practice of bhakti. So there's no qualification is required. Also, it gives the highest realization. So this takes you up to Bhagavan level. No other process takes you to Bhagavan level, Bhagavan realization. Easiest process, no qualification required, takes you to the highest level. It is fastest also, as we had discussed. It's like a lift, not going through staircase. Also, bhakti is not lost. This verse would be our next verse only. Niha vikramana swasti pratyavayo na vidyate. Salpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahitva. A little bit of progress in bhakti is preserved. Whereas other yogas, bhakti is not preserved. Other yogas also have to practice bhakti. That is the last point. Why they have to practice bhakti? They have to practice bhakti because ultimately elevation is going to happen through bhakti only. Like chanting of Omkar is there. Yagyas, I told the mouth is Lord Vishnu. Jnana yogis also chant Hare Krishna or some mantra of Lord Vishnu separately. Ashtanga yogis also meditate on the Lord within the heart, Lord Vishnu within the heart. So each of these people have to practice bhakti for elevation of consciousness because yoga processes by themselves can't give elevation. Then why is other practices required at all? They are required for keeping the practitioner engaged. It's like a mother wants to give a medicine to the child. And because the medicine is very bitter, child won't take it. So many times children say, no, we like only sweet cough syrup. We don't like bitter medicine. So then what mother does is, mother takes one laddu, puts medicine in the laddu and feeds. So in between he'll make like a mouth, water entered inside. And then again he'll be happy. Because laddu is there. So similarly, bhakti is one which elevates the consciousness of a person. Other processes keep the person engaged. For example, you have control of mentality. Why don't you control your mind and senses? So then people are doing Kapalbhati, controlling their breath. Control, you want some control your breath, control your mind. But elevation consciousness will happen through bhakti. But their bhakti is not preserved. Why? Because the reason is they take bhakti for getting their goal, that is Brahman. They don't want Krishna. So that relationship with Krishna is not established, which is actual practice of Bhakti Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga, slowly our relationship with Krishna is established. Slowly we become attached to Krishna. Like many devotees may be having a relation. And many devotees even they express to me that Prabhu, so many years have passed, still we don't have any attraction for the deities. But in due course of time, that attraction comes. So that attachment increases. That thing is not preserved for other yogis because they don't even desire it. Okay, we can. I'll complete it first, then you can ask questions. Because your questions may be answered in my explanations. So this is about another thing is given is non-completion of bhakti doesn't lead to sin. For example, you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra half. Hare Krishna, Krishna, or Hare Krishna. That will be preserved. And you will not get sin for chanting half Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Or practicing any sort of bhakti. But that is not true with other yoga processes. For example, somebody is practicing Chaturmas, taking only Havesan, that means only khichdi with salt. And one does it very, very nicely for all 4 months. But one doesn't do parana properly. You miss the parana. Maybe because Chaturmas, your body has become very weak and you faint. You can't do parana properly. What will happen? 2 things will happen. First thing, no benefit of practicing Chaturmas. 4 months gone. Second, there would be severe reactions for not breaking the fast on time. You will get sin also, additional. There's a problem with the karma kanda. So our devotees may do Chaturmas, but that should be focused for only sole purpose of enhancing chanting and hearing. I can chant more and read more. If your practice of Chaturmas or any other vrata or anything doesn't enhance your Shravan Kirtan, then that's not required. So this is another problem with or another benefit of bhakti. No loss for non-completion, no sin for non-completion. Both things are there. Next is, as I told before, bhakti is beyond modes. Other yoga processes are in modes. So Ashtanga Yoga, mode of goodness. Niskam Karma Yoga and mode of goodness. Jnana Yoga and mode of goodness. Sakam Karma Yoga is in mode of passion. Bhakti is beyond modes. Bolo Kera Premadhan, Harinam Sankirtan. Our process is an imported process from the spiritual world. So that's transcendental. Also, it's easy to focus one's mind on bhakti because you are chanting Hare. A beginner in Krishna consciousness chants Hare Krishna. What happens to someone who has been practicing for 20 years? Mantra changes or no? Same mantra. Even if you go to spiritual world, same mantra. So practices of bhakti don't change, whereas other processes change. This I'll not tell. I'll tell you one example for that, and then later on you can ask me questions. How there is a change in other processes. So for Jnana yogis in general, because there is a risk of going back if you are not free from dualism mentality. So Jnana yogi generally they practice Niskam Karma Yoga along with Jnana Yoga so that they have to be sure that no, we have to be free from dualism mentality. When they're very sure, they take Karma Sannyas. We're seeing here. In that, now they give up Varnasana or duties of a Grasta life and they concentrate on Jnana process. 24 elements, analyzing that, reading scriptures for long time, meditating on the burning bodies, etc. Doing long meditations. So they concentrate on Jnana, but they give up Karma Yoga. But they also practice Bhakti along with that, so that they get the results of Jnana Yoga. When they want to enter in Brahman, they have to give up even Jnana Yoga also. So Jnana Yoga is practiced so that one can get rid of bodily consciousness. Jnana Yoga is compared to fire, that's Vidya, and Avidya is compared to wood. Fire remains in the wood till wood remains. As soon as wood is fully burnt, fire goes away. Similarly, Vidya is required till one gets rid of Avidya. As soon as Avidya is destroyed, one has only Vidya. Vidya is not required at all. One has to then give up Gyan also. Jnanam cha mayi sanyasit. And then he can enter in Brahman. So that's like giving up and taking up so many things time to time. Whereas in Bhakti, things are very easy. In Bhakti, the process is same. Chant Hare Krishna day 1, after 6 months, after 6 years, after 60 years, and even after going to spiritual world. So that's why it's very easy to focus. So the benefits of Bhakti. Now you can ask questions to devotees. Santosh Pro.
As per the graph logic, like the Bhakti yoga starts when association of devotees, right? Bhakti yoga starts only when with the association of devotees. Like that, even Nishkama Karma, any Jnanis, even they can go to Bhagavan when they get the association of devotees. Is it true?
No, see, if they get association of devotees, then they don't perform Niskam Karma or Sakam Karma. They start practicing Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah, when they get the association of devotees, then start practicing Bhakti Yoga, then they can reach Bhagavan, right?
Anybody. See, he may be in any, for example, Okay. For example, somebody may be in, from which floor can you enter in lift? First floor or fifth floor or sixth floor? Which floor?
Ground floor.
So you can't enter in lift from fourth floor?
We can prove it.
Like that. So bhakti is like a process. Anybody can enter from any stage. Okay. Okay, Udakaran too.
Yes, bro. Some people say some Bhakti Yoga. So who doesn't know knowledge, so that people they will do. That means like so like this words will come up. So what?
I got it. Your voice is not very clear.
Not careful. Can we able to hear program?
Okay. But speak bit slowly so that.
Yeah. So bhakti process. Some people says bhakti process is very less intelligent people they do in the. So
Okay,
like
that Prabhupada will answer in one purport. Prabhupada says if it is so such like that, then why don't they practice bhakti yoga? And then he quotes 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They were so elevated and they were practicing bhakti yoga, not foolish people. Ramanujar, was he a fool? Madhvacharya, was he a fool? So people may say anything, but we have to know.
Yes, Prabhu. How we need to understand them? There, like make to understand.
I'm making you understand. Na the way same way you make them understand. Quote the names, na. They're the greatest scholars of their times. Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, Ramanujar. Nobody had a courage to not talk with them, and they were practicing bhakti. So how can it be made for less intelligent? It may be for less intelligent. Even less intelligent can practice it. At the same time, after they practice, they don't remain less intelligent. So you may be less intelligent. Was Albert Einstein less intelligent person when he was in class, when he was 3 years old? Or when he was 1 year old? Was he less intelligent or not?
Yes, true.
And when he was 1 year old, you give him some mathematics simple equation. What is 2 plus 2? He won't be able to answer. But that doesn't mean that he keeps on remaining less intelligent. As the time passes, one becomes more intelligent. Similarly, one may be less intelligent. When one starts practicing bhakti, he doesn't remain less intelligent. He becomes more intelligent.
Thank you.
Okay, Rasi sir too.
Prabhu, I have 2 questions, Prabhu. One is in one slide, the second point you told that bhakti is not lost. So bhakti is not lost and quoted like Neha Vikramana Shrotu Satyavaya. So even after some of them they will be practicing bhakti, and after some time somehow or other people will fall down. And after falling down, why that practiced bhakti is not helping them to like enlighten them again, going in the same line. So
No, it will help. It may be a delay, but it will help. There may be a delay. It's like your car is moving from, let us say you're coming from Bangalore to Calcutta by car. You may stop at some place because you become distracted by a side hotel. So you may get down in the hotel and start eating there. After 1 hour or 2 hours, you will again sit in the car. So like that, there may be some times where people may have breaks in life, but that doesn't mean that they would stop. In due course of time, they would be attracted again.
okay, is there any like a process like if you want to preach or if you want to make them again like motivate them, so how to give them, like how to pick them up?
Have good relationship with that person. In NOI, we discuss about 6 loving exchanges. So in any community, if the 6 living exchanges are followed properly, then people stay in that community, they don't leave. When 6 living exchanges are not there, then people start doing living exchanges outside. A child who's happy in home doesn't go outside and stay outside. Only the child who's unsatisfied in the home goes out of the home. Community also.
Yes, yes, bro. Understood, bro. So this is
So
my
make
first
make
question.
so make a good relationship with the people, and gradually again they'll pick up because they already have a taste, but because of some reason they have left. But in due course of time they'll return.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. This is my first question, bro. Second question is, in the second slide, you mentioned that so even a Jnana Yoga, if he entering into the Brahma Jyoti or Brahman, he has to leave even Jnana also. He has to give up Jnana also. So Brahma Jyoti means how we have to understand, Prabhu. It is a Sat. In Satchidananda feature, the Brahman is a Sat. Then the Jnan feature and Sat Chit feature and Jnan feature, they didn't realize it. So in that way, we need to understand, and we have to understand if they are giving up Jnana, how we have to.
See, Jnana means Jnana is totally focused on that I am not matter. If you think I am matter, you are one is having influence by avidya. Jnana means I am not matter. Agyan means or I am matter. Ignorance. I matter. But main thing is, if you meditate on matter even at the time of death, where will you return?
Bro, come again, bro.
If you meditate on matter while leaving your body, where will you return?
Again to the matter.
So whether you say I am matter, I am not matter, you have to return to this matter only, na?
Yes.
That's why till you realize that I am not matter, Gyan is required. As soon as one realizes that I am not matter, now there has to be some positive understanding. So the only positive understanding which they have is Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, that's all. Rest all things one has to leave here. Otherwise your meditation will again go on matter and you will return to matter.
Okay, so even Aham Brahmasmi is also termed as Jnana only, like some little
true.
knowledge.
That's like only part of Gyan. And if we don't call it Gyan, we don't call it Vidya. It's called Paravidya.
Okay. Paravidya. Okay, bro. So even like in Brahman, that is also knowledge. But like some part of knowledge is required, like para knowledge is required.
But only knowledge which they have is I am not body. Sorry, only more knowledge which they have is I am Brahman. I'm not this body. They have to leave.
Yeah, understood, bro. Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna.
Manjunath.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This Ashtanga Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga comes under mode of goodness, and Sakama Karma Yoga comes under mode of passion, and Bhakti Yoga comes beyond all these modes. So, which yoga comes under mode of ignorance, Prabhu?
No yoga. If you sleep, how will you do yoga?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
That is yoga. Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Anupama Kontru.
Prabhuji, in the second slide, yes, Prabhuji, in the second slide you mentioned, so bhakti is not last. So whereas other processes, so they will last. But my question is, Prabhuji, that vasanas or that consciousness should be there, even though they last in this life, next life, will that vasanas will carry for them, the other practices, whoever doing?
See, whatever your level of consciousness is there, that will be carried on in the next life. But main thing is the bhakti you have practiced will not be carried. Because whatever subtle body has been molded will go in the next body also. Whatever consciousness you have in this life will also be there in from the child of birth, from the time of birth, the next life. But the practice of bhakti will be lost.
Yes, Prabhuji. So again, so there is a chances that if that vasana is continue, means again they can continue the same practices in the next life also.
Yes. Rather, Balakrishna Prabhu, you have to mute yourself. So, Haribol. So in this way, what I was speaking, I just forgot.
Yeah, Prabhupada. Means they will practice us in the next life also, whatever the practices they did, consciousness.
Actually, what I was speaking is that each of these practices are practice of many, many lifetimes. It's not that Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga will give result in one life. It may take thousands and millions of lifetimes also. So all these elevations in other processes may take millions of lifetimes. Bhakti Yoga is the process which you can know. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Amar ko सुन लो. बोलिए, आपकी आवाज ना इसमें जा रही है. So I have to go in you. Who is putting on that? हाँ, इसको वो कर लीजिए, हेडफोन कर लीजिए. So in this way, that will continue because it takes many lives. Bhakti Yoga is the only process which can be completed in one life.
Okay, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, so we had enough discussion. Fine. One last question. Sarojini Mataji, Vishakha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We generally hear that only Bhakti Yoga will continue life after life. All other process, if we leave in the middle or we didn't complete, then we have to start from the beginning. So in that sense, will it continue life after life, or they will also have the continuation of, suppose in the Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, they didn't complete it properly. So they have to, will they have still they have the continuity in their next life with that Ashtanga Yoga or whatever process they are doing, other than Bhakti Yoga?
They will, but the Bhakti part will not be preserved. See, Bhakti part means, let us say you have, along with Ashtanga Yoga, also you are practicing Bhakti, so that you get the benefit of Ashtanga Yoga. But whatever 10% of Bhakti you have practiced, that will not go in the next life. So in next life, what will happen is, again, you will have the level of consciousness which you had will remain like that only, which I showed in the graph. Whatever level of consciousness is, that will continue in the next life. In the next life, again, you have to practice Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar. But that will be easier because you have practiced in the last life.
Okay. So they will be easily, they will be easily fixed in the process.
Yes.
But they have to start from the beginning only.
You have to start from the beginning.
Okay.
See, even for material skills, that is true. Once Prabhupada told about this Ravi Shankar, he said that Ravi Shankar is able to play sitar very nicely because he has been practicing playing since last 7 lives. So that's true even with the skills what to say of yoga processes. That's why you'll find certain natures and skills come from past life. Otherwise, how somebody is very good in dancing and somebody is very good in cooking. Somebody is very good in coding. Somebody is very good in architecture. These are coming from previous lives. So they all are part of subtle body. So they continue. But main thing is you have to learn. Albert Einstein, he goes to the college. He may pick up things very quickly because he had learned in the past life certain skills or analytical things. But at the same time, he cannot say, oh, because I'm Albert Einstein, I'll not study in the school. Directly, no, I'll do research work. So that won't be there.
Then what is the difference in Bhakti Yoga, meaning that we continue life after life?
Bhakti Yoga means whatever, let us say, somebody has practiced till Nishtha. Anathaniviti is over.
Okay.
Next life, when he begins chanting Hare Krishna, he will chant on the level of Nishtha, not the platform of Anathaniviti. That means if you have failed in class 10th in this school, then next life and you die. Next life you can again get admitted in class 10th. Whereas other processes you have to begin with kindergarten. Fine. And that's why we find, I know some devotees, day one they came and they start chanting 16 rounds. That means they had practiced something in before, past life. So there are people like that. So it's clear. Now we'll go to verse number 40. So this, why did I spend so much time in explaining this chart? Because I want all of you to by heart this chart. If you don't by heart, don't be surprised that you will not understand anything in first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. That's like this is the basis. So even in the next class or any class, you have any doubt on the graph, you can ask me questions, but memorize by heart and understand it thoroughly.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said if the Ashtanga Yogi is there and they performed some 10% of Bhakti Yoga, that will not carry forward. So, how can you explain that? Like, even though they perform, it will not carry. Like that Bhakti means.
See, for example, a Jnana Yogi or Ashtanga Yogi may also chant Hare Krishna. And he has to chant. He has to chant other, not just Hare Krishna, any mantra, anything. But at the same time, that elevation will not be counted. It's not a 10% bhakti he has practiced in this life. Then he will begin from 11% in next life. So that means by the end of Ashtanga Yoga, let us say he has practiced 60% bhakti. And then later on he comes in contact with a devotee, then directly he begins with 60% of bhakti. No, it's not like that. You have to begin from zero only. You understood now, na, difference?
But still it is confusing, Prabhu, because we say Swalpam Apyastam, even a very small amount if you do also, it will help you out of coming out of the danger. But you say the bhakti will not be, like along with Ashtanga Yogi, if they perform, then it will not continue. So
It's confused. I'm speaking from Acharya's purports. So there's no question of like thinking
Okay.
how it can be true, how it cannot
Prabhu,
be true.
your voice. Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
Is it breaking for everyone?
No, Prabhu. It is fine for us.
So maybe Mother Prabhu has to change his, check his network.
okay.
Okay, clear, na? So there's no like no. I'm speaking from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There's no question of how it can happen. It happens. Now you understand how it happens. How I can understand how it happens, then I can explain. Whether it happens or not happens, it has to happen because our Acharya has spoken. No question of no, not happening.
Okay.
So it doesn't get preserved for. That's it. See, there is a reason why it doesn't get preserved. The reason is given is because they don't even desire it. See, they are not. They don't want. Like for example, in the home when you invest in relationship, let us say with your some relative, your husband or anyone, you know, I want to continue the relationship for the whole life. But let us say you go to some bank, and the bank person is not like so cooperative, and then you may give him, you know, some biryani or something, so that you get your things done, and then you get your things done. After getting your things done, do you desire to further continue relationship with that person if you don't have any work in that bank? No, na. So same thing is true with these Ashtanga Yogis, Karma Yogis, Jnana Yogis also. They want to practice Bhakti just so that it can help them get Brahman. They have nothing to do with Krishna or Bhakti.
They don't have any relationship with Krishna. They don't desire any relationship.
They don't desire any relationship. So that's why it is not preserved.
Okay.
So Manjunath.
Hare Y-axis, these things are there. Hare Krishna.
We couldn't hear anything.
Okay, you mentioned that by heart this graph, like a process and this consciousness graph. How to by heart actually? Like we have to remember like x-axis these things are there and y-axis these things are there. How it is? Probably.
Memorize it, make it in your notebook, and write all the points whatever I have written. Check whether that is the way of by heart.
Okay.
So as a homework, again make it, memorize it, make it, see whether cross check whether you have made it properly or not, and whether you are able to write all the points or not.
Okay, thank you.
When the bhakti ends, when you see Krishna face to face, Krishna Prem, then the bhakti ends. Bhakti didn't end, bhakti never ends, but at least you have got the success of going back to spiritual world or getting Krishna Prem. So bhakti never ends.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Sometimes new people they ask, oh, your 6-session course or 8-session course or 12-session course, whatever we have, when will it end? It will not end. Then we'll have something else. How long will your sessions will continue? Will not leave you even if you leave your body. So we are going to chase you even after you die. It will never end. So now text number 40. We just have 5 minutes. At least we'll take one verse because we already discussed about it. Neha vikrama naswasti pratyavayo na vidyate salpampi asya dharmasya trate mahto bhayat. Please read.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
So I told before, it's only for bhakti. It's not for other processes. So some Mataji were asking question also, how can it happen? So our acharyas explain it, and they explain it based on scriptures. So already I explained about it, how bhakti is only preserved, other things are not preserved. But I'll just give proofs now. So Sarojini Mataji, Visakha Mataji were asking how acharyas explain it. So our acharyas have quoted certain scriptures, and we'll see all these verses. Of course, this verse is more for that unless until one practices bhakti, one cannot get a success in one's yoga. So you don't have to repeat. I'll just tell because I memorize it. Na yujyamana ya bhaktya bhagavati akhilatmani sadrosti seva pantha yoginam brahma siddhaye. So this verse says, na yujyamana ya bhaktya. Unless until one practice yoga process along with bhakti. Of whose bhakti? Akhilatmani. Akhilatmani means Paramatma who is residing in everyone's heart. Akhil means everyone. Atmani means super soul. So super soul residing within the heart, unless until you practice his bhakti, sadro asti siva panta. Siva means auspiciousness. One doesn't get auspiciousness in your path of bhakti. Sorry, of the path of your yoga. Yogi nam brahma siddhaye. So even if somebody wants to get Brahman or one wants to get success in one's yoga path, one has to practice bhakti. So that's essential. And 1.5.12. So anyway, before we get it, I'll just recite it. Naskarmyapi achyut bhava varjitam na sobate jnanamanam lanjanam kuta punas sasvada badramishware na charpitam karma yadi apak karanam. So this verse says, Naskarmyam api achyut bhavavarjitam. This is 15. 12. I have to go back. So this verse says, Naskarmam. Naskarmam basically means Gyan. No Kriya. Api achyut bhava varjitam. That means it is not connected to Achyut Bhav. Achyut Bhav means Bhakti. Achyut is Supreme Lord and Bhav means Bhakti. Varjita means giving up. So if one gives up the practice of Bhakti and just practices Jnana alone, na sobhate jnanam alam niranjana. Jnana doesn't have any use. It is like an empty husk. No use. Kuta puna saswat abhadram isure. What to say of one which is already inauspicious? What is that? That is karma. So karma, if it is not offered to the Lord, na charpitam karmayadi apakaranam, it will not reap any results. That means that bhakti element has to be there. If bhakti element is not there, it won't be preserved. And one last also, another last verse, this talks about how bhakti is the one which is preserved. 11, 29, 20. So this is about bhakti. So this verse is not about all yogas. This verse will make it very clear. This current verse, the 2.40 is about bhakti being preserved, not about other yoga. This is very clear in this particular verse. Because previous verses are about yoga only. You can just read the previous one. Somebody can read that. Okay, this is this process.
Consider this process using one's mind.
Indeed, I consider this process using one's mind, words, and bodily functions for realizing me within all living beings to be the possible method of spiritual enlightenment. Hare Krishna.
This is talking about Bhakti Yoga because this whole chapter is started as Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna says, I consider Bhakti is the best. And then he says this verse. Nahi angopkrame dhvamso mad dharmasyo davapi maya vyavasita samyak nirgunatvad anasisa. Please read.
My dear Uddhava, because I have personally established it, this process of devotional service unto me is transcendental and free from any material motivation. Certainly, a devotee never suffer even slight loss by adopting this process.
Is this last line and the line of first line of chapter current verse, is it same or different? Like in this verse we say, in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. Little advancement on this path can protect one from most fear. The same as this line. So it's very clear that this particular verse is talking about bhakti. It's not talking about other yoga systems. Okay, Sarojini Mataji, Vishakha Mataji, that's clear now?
Yes, Prabhu.
So there's the benefit of following acharyas, because our acharyas, they read all the scriptures and they have given essence of the scripture. Nana Shastra Vicharane Karnupuno Sadharma Sanstha. We don't have to go to all the scriptures. So they take things from all the scriptures and analyze, and then they give purports. So that's how. So bhakti is the one which is preserved, others are not preserved. So when Prabhupada is writing actually, this verse, he is writing on the strength of the acharyas. And our acharyas also have read all the scriptures and they are writing the strength of those scriptures. So in this 11, the verse which I quoted, 11, 20 and 20, this is part of Uddhav Gita. Krishna has spoken to Uddhava. So many of our acharyas, what they have done, they have set the parallels between Bhagavad Gita and Uddhav Gita to understand Bhagavad Gita properly. So there Krishna is very clear that this verse refers to Bhakti Yoga, doesn't refer to other yoga systems. So that's in other yoga systems, Bhakti is not preserved. Only in Krishna consciousness is preserved. Okay. So already we have discussed all the points. Okay, fine. So that was 40. And then next time we'll take next verse that will also talk about Bhakti Yoga only. And that's like a very special verse because that encouraged Prabhupada to go to West. So verse number 41. Especially Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on that. So that we'll discuss in the next class. So it's 9 o'clock now. So what you can do is homework for next classes. There's something you can do. All of you can memorize the whole chart. Write the different points. And then I may not be able to check everyone. But what you can do is you can still send to me WhatsApp. So don't send in the group because in case you have wrong understanding, then it will be promoted. But you can hear it. So make what you have to do. You have to memorize the whole chart, sketch it in your paper, write all the points, take the photograph and send it to me. In WhatsApp group, my number is also. So you can send it to me. So in case whenever I get time, I'll go through it. I don't know how much I'll get time, but still I'll try. And in case I find that somebody has done some mistake, I'll correct.
Prabhuji, if you have any doubt during the week, can we ask to you?
If you have any doubt during weekend, what you can do is you can send me some WhatsApp message.
Sure.
Or you can record and send me. And wait. If I have not seen for 3 days, that means I'm not getting time to answer it. So till I get time to answer it, I will not see it. I'll see it only when I get time to answer.
Thank you.
So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Shri Gopal ki. Tagore Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So I think most of them are switching on the videos, but second part of the class, half of the class is no videos are off. So Prabhu is keep on asking. So try, if not at least, because for speaker it looks very odd if devotees are not switching on the video. We are not switching on the video, so please try to switch on the video, and you will also feel little kind of a seriousness in class. If you are not switching on video, generally we will go off in other area. And this today class is very, very important. If possible, hear it once again and understand whatever questions you have. Stop Prabhu and keep get clarified. If not, later what Prabhu says, no, I already said in yoga ladder. So this question already cleared. Like that, he'll be answering and keep moving to. Because entire 18 chapters will be referred the same yoga ladder. Further any questions. So that's why please understand, if any questions, any doubts, stop Prabhu there only. Prabhu, I want this clarity. Why it is like that? Like that. So better to get clarified and furtherly we can go. That is a very important, because furtherly entire Bhagavad Gita will be referred as a yoga ladder. So it won't be answered again. If you ask also, it will be like a telegram answer. So later. So better now only get clarified yoga ladder. Any doubt is there, even look small doubt also. One very nice point in Bhakti Shastri, even if you ask small point, it has to be answered in a very deeper way. So normally if you ask in the normal Bhagavatam class, you don't know this also, like that we feel. But it's in Bhakti Shastri point of view, not like that. It has to be answered very deeper way. So that's why don't feel that okay, I have very silly question. Even silly question or serious question, you better approach him and ask him. Because we are spending time and Prabhu also spending time. Both are investing time in Krishna consciousness. Let us have a clear understanding in this. And now go back and go through all yoga ladder and write down questions, whatever clarified or not clarified. So those you keep it for your understanding. If it is not clarified, pose it to Prabhu next class. So that is very important. So Subhadra Mataji, I have sent you a link in chat box for you personally. Just click that and join into the WhatsApp group.
Okay, Prabhu.
Now means in this chat box. If I close this, you may not be accessible to that. Maybe you see that, or I'll share it once again openly. Maybe because that is a main group for everyone. Yeah, now I put it for everyone. You are not in that group, so maybe you can click it and I will come to that group. Okay, so that is from my side. Please, thank you. Mataji, did you get the chat? Because once you click, I'll come to know here whether you joined or not. In chat box, it is there. Just click it.
No, Prabhuji.
You didn't get, Mataji?
No, I didn't get.
Have you opened chat box?
Yes.
It is there. Others can see.
Zoom chat box, Mataji.
Zoom. Where you are there? Here. In Zoom. Just Zoom chat box is this.
Yes.
Just click it, Mataji. Okay. I think you could not click. Anyway, you message me, Mataji, WhatsApp message personally. I'll send you that. Okay, we can stop here. Hare Krishna. You can message me, Mataji, in WhatsApp. That's fine. Kalyan Prabhu, you can end it. I can